What is up, everyone? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your Crypto Pro.
Yay!
And today we are going to get in an updated technical analysis on Kaspa. And might I add that this is completely unrehearsed. I did not go through this chart beforehand. I want you to get my exact reaction as I am analyzing the chart, so you can get an idea of how I pick up on the indicators to know what the possibilities are for future action. Let me make it clear that this is definitely not financial advice. Neither is this an endorsement of the Kaspa project. I'm not on the project team, and I'm not trying to give anybody the impression that this is a great project that you should just ape into. I like it. I'm gambling. That's it. Now, you make your own decisions, do your own due diligence, draw your own conclusions. Starting out here on the 4-hour chart, the first thing that we see is that we had failed the 50 EMA most miserably. In the last video, I know we talked about the 50 EMA possibly being a touch point, which it did touch here, and being support. But as we notice, as always, whenever you have that third touch, it usually fails. And here it is. You got your once, twice, and 3 times a lady, as Lionel, what's his name, used to sing. And we failed the 50 EMA. And so now we look like we're trying to crawl up a little bit as we have this nice little bullish crossover on the stochastic. The blue line has crossed over the orange line. No guarantees that it stays that way. But we also have a very bearish MACD. Now, we are printing light bars on the 4-hour histogram right there, which says that we're approaching the zero line again. But we noticed we had our peak and we have a lower high. We have a low, we have a lower low. What does that indicate? Bearish overall action. So based on this 4-hour chart, it looks like if this works out and the stochastic starts a new cycle up, if it even, makes it up there, the first target would be right here at this volume node. Exactly. There's the peak node at 1.2 cents. And there's not much other evidence really on the 4-hour to look beyond before we see what this stochastic does as it completes out. We can't really talk about this other little node here at 1.1 cents until we see this play out. And we're probably going to have to look at the 1-day chart. The only thing that we can see elsewise on this 4-hour chart is overall bearish momentum on the MACD, which is a lagging indicator, and a double top number 1, top number 2. This is a lower high. So that means that right now we have to say that we are in an overall bearish channel, okay? And so if you really want to extrapolate, and it's way too early to tell, if we come back up to this 50 EMA and we get rejected, the next possible place to test support and resistance is down here at the big green box. And what did I tell you last video? I said that the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart is going to come up and enter this box, and it's going to be a magical coincidence that by the time the blue line gets into that box, price action can come down and test the box and the line at the same time. That's no coincidence. That's just classical TA. Let's move to the 1-day chart and stay tuned because we're going to do questions and answers and check the comments from the last video before we go. It's something new that I'm going to be doing. All right, now let's draw on this chart here. We've got a green candle forming right now. Will it hold? I don't know. A slight little green candle. And we're working in this area of this nice cluster here. We fell off of the peak, which was up here at the top, this small little peak. And now we're just below the biggest peak node in this cluster. So what do we see downstairs? We see the 50 EMA crawling up right there. And it's probably going to try to catch up with this box, just like the 200 was climbing up to catch the box on the 4-hour chart. So what happens next? Well, we do have the green here, but what do we have downstairs? We have a bearish situation on the stochastic. It looks like we curled over and we had several fake outs where it looked like we were going to cross over and go back upstairs, and we didn't. We had this bullish crossover and it unfurled, and now we're back into a bearish situation where the blue line is below the orange line and they're gaped wide open. Okay, so this gap, as it increases, it says negative momentum will continue. So I'm expecting this to go down this way. Now on the MACD downstairs, very bearish. Look at this thing. It's about to cross over. And we had these little touches here where it kept on going up bullishly, but this time I don't think it's going to do a fake. It looks like that blue line is going to definitely cross over this orange, and then this will continue momentum downward unless something crazy happens that just reverses the TA and bounces it back up. But overall, I expect that to continue going downward based on what we're looking at. We have the bars on the histogram turning light green. We are at the 0 line. So that is a confirmation of bearish momentum. Now, when we look at what happened before, we had this big run up here in this bullish phase where you had these continuous higher lows on the stochastic, higher lows on the price action. And then we flipped, okay? We went to a bearish channel after staying up here in the overbought zone. We flipped and we started making these lower lows and lower highs on the stochastic. And then we go into this period of accumulation / consolidation, one of the two, where from this point all the way to the big run up, we're just accumulating. So we start making these higher lows, except for this one, and higher highs all the way through to the peak, which is this one that coincides with our all-time high. And now, if I'm not mistaken, what I'm looking at here is possibly a pivot point where we change the direction and we start to correct, which is a healthy thing and something that you can expect. So a lot of people are hoping for a correction because they want to get back down here to this node that lines up with about 1 cent. I know Simon's looking to buy if we correct down to 1 cent, if we can make it down to that box. Now, my question will be, do we hold when we make it to that box, or does it fail? And I think this depends on what happens with Bitcoin and the March 15th FOMC meeting when they announce the next rate hike. If it's a 25-point rate hike, 1 cent will probably hold. But if it's a 50-point increase, all the markets are going to be in for a little bit of a clobbering. And that's where I would say that it is possible that we fail the box. So let's say scenario 1, we dip on down, we test the box, and we get a 25-point rate hike. We'll probably come back up into this volume node here again. And then in situation number 2, if they announce a 50-point rate hike, there's a good chance that we fall out of the box and it will either hold here and then fall or go straight down to this big node or the point of control. So worst case scenario, and we don't know what's going to happen, it could be 0.0065 or 0.0072 or 0.0088 if we fail the 1 cent mark. And then we also need to watch to see how this plays out here. So that's what we're looking at. And again, we don't know what's going to happen. It's all probabilities. Some of the things that could affect it could be some big announcement about the Rust rewrite, or it could be raising the money to get on a big listed exchange. And we're going to check out some of the comments because some of our great folks in the CryptoPro crew have given us some good information about what's going on in the background. So let's jump over to my channel. And then we are going to click on the previous comments and see if we can find some of those great comments that were listed from our good friends. All right. So Sylvian Hobson said, great work, but I see a new base being formed at around 1 cent with all the catalysts coming. And that's very valid, very possible. And if those catalysts do work out, then we could see that happen. So great comment. Juan Carlos says, keep them coming. I think Kaspa has the potential of reaching $1. I certainly think it could. At the peak of the bull market, there's some people who think it could go even higher. Now, my man Val, let me just read this whole comment. This is a good one. As I know about raising money for listing on the top exchange, the line was passed and 100,000 was not collected. The listing offer was withdrawn. It will now be decided where the funds raised will go that were not used towards paying for that big listing. It is possible to create a mining pool or some other options. They also said that the listing on the Ledger crypto wallet will take place within 3 months. It seems that there is 1 month left. Now, that would be great. I've got a Ledger wallet somewhere buried on my desk, and I don't ever use it because I don't want to pay the ETH gas fees to move my tokens. A token is something that resides on someone else's blockchain. Like, say, ACH is a token because it's on the ERC blockchain. ERC20 tokens reside on the Ethereum blockchain. But Kaspa has its own blockchain, which, as we know, is a block DAG. So hopefully, if we have the ability to move to the Ledger, we'll only be paying the fees that would be necessary to move it within our own blockchain, and ETH won't be involved. All right, Woody86 says, great content as always. Enjoy your videos. Bought 60,000 Kaspa at 0046. Wow, rock on, Woody. You did good on that. I kept buying and selling swing trading. My first price was 0.0015, and then I sold for a profit, bought back in higher. The price dipped, and then I think I bought more and went back and forth. Then I decided to stop all the nonsense and just sit on it. I've got 100,000, and I think that's where I'm going to just stop unless we get a nice, strong correction. Yeah, Woody, I did get hustled. Oh, I'm hustling like a legend. I hustled myself because I lost some of my position doing that, but I paid a higher price to get my 100,000 back that I originally had. And thank you for such positive and supporting comments. I appreciate that. Stan says, do you have any opinion on stacks as a layer 2 to BTC? I'm not sure if they're the first to utilize ordinals on BTC, but they pumped hard. Since the SEC deems BTC as a commodity, would that extend to stacks because of their integration with BTC? If so, it would be a good idea for VV, for those of you who watch my VV updates, to jump on board with stacks to protect their inventory from the SEC's attacks, since they'll be labeling everything as a security these days. Now, I don't know if the SEC is going to be successful in destroying the entire market and calling everything a security. So that's number one. Then number two, looking at stacks, let me show you what that chart looks like real quick, and what my reaction to it was. So we'll look at the Binance listing. There it is. And so we had this very nice pump after February, which it was at 30 cents, and it went all the way to 90. I missed the boat on that. I wish I could have got it back here, but this is a good chart. I don't know much about the project, but I'm certainly going to study this. Look at that low. It was at 20 cents and had a nice movement. It looks like it failed this big volume node here at 73 cents. It's going to come down, test the 50. If it fails that, it'll test the 200. If it fails that, it's coming back to the point of control at 30 cents. And at that point, I might look at picking some up on the 1 week chart. Man, look at this. You could have got this at 6, 7 cents. This action here looks like a huge premature pump, and this is going to correct hard. And as long as it holds this base of 14 cents, it'll keep on building. If it fails that, the next base is 9 cents. I don't know if it'll correct that far unless we get this 50-point hike and a massive correction in the crypto market. But I'm watching it. I'll start watching it 20 cents on down. So thanks for alerting me to stacks. I appreciate that. And maybe I'll do a video on it in the future. All right, moving right along. Who else had a comment? Let's see here. Okay, so Kaspa all the way up to 10. Well, that'd be nice. I wouldn't be mad at all. That might take a while. Val had responded to that. That means 33 times increase in capitalization. So if figured out correctly, 33 cents on the highs of the next bull cycle, maybe in 2.5 years, it's possible, but perhaps too optimistic, of which I would agree. I think $1 is reasonable. And if Kaspa continues to be the main GPU mining coin or top 5 all this time in the future, then it will be so. Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll see what happens. Jim says, great information. Thank you, Jim. Next we have, I'm skipping down here. Let's scroll down. Nexa versus Kaspa. Let me tell you what I think of Nexa. Abdurrahim Hamada. Yeah, he was just asking about the update, and that's why I did this one. This one was for you, Mr. Hamada. So, salam. Hopefully you are happy about this update, and thanks for prodding me. All right, Kaspa's the future. Yes, it is. What about Nexa? Well, let me show you Nexa. Let's go back to the 4-hour. And I'll give you my immediate reaction on Nexa. Nexa Tether on MEXC. No. I don't buy stuff like this. So whenever you come out of the box, number one, it looks like a meme coin and has an insanely high circulating supply. It comes out here and then distribution. So no. That 4-hour chart is nasty. Looking at the 1-day chart, it's even worse. No price history. It'll be a long time before I even would consider that. And the only meme I have right now that I'm, somewhat excited about is SHIB, even though I think SHIB is kind of a joke. For some reason, George from Cryptos Are Us. Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George. We're all George. He's always yammering on about SHIB and the Shibarium. I don't know, George. I love George. I watch him every day, but I don't know why he's so bullish on SHIB and talking about it all the time. So that's a no on Nexa. I don't recommend that to anybody, even though I'm not giving financial advice, but no. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Absolutely right. That's how this world works. And this is a good one by Chewy. Chewy says, my hairy forehead just can't understand Kaspa's movement. That is so true. It marches to a beat of its own drum. It doesn't always follow the market. Right now, it is following the market action, but not always. Okay, so back to the chart. Let's get back up here. I wanted to see if anything would show up on the 1-week version. Not much. On the 1 week, we can kind of see the cycle here and a double top that has formed, where this is top number 1. It regains the strength. Top number 2, all-time high, and impending crossover of the 1 week stochastic. It's coming, and bear market for Kaspa is going to start. The first serious correction is going to come from there. We'll see if we get new buying opportunities, perhaps. So it's a waiting game. We'll just wait and watch. And that is all that I have for now. But I would love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the CryptoPro channel. And if you would like to help defray the cost of me producing this channel, and let me tell you guys, it's expensive. I spend a lot of money, probably over $150 a month for all the stuff, the bells, the whistles, to get these videos done. But you can help me with a super thanks, and I thank you in advance if you do so. Stay tuned till next time, and we'll go through the comments. I'll take your suggestions for projects you want to see. And with that being said, I hate that phrase. This is Carlton, and I'm out.